Whether your beer is in a bottle, can, or glass, kick back and relax. It's Better on Draft. Kick back and relax.
Hello and welcome to Better on Draft, episode 370. My name is Rob, and today we'll be talking with Nick from Books and Brews, Brownsburg. But before we get going, hey Wendy, what are you drinking?
Well, I am on a Michigan beer kick right now since it is Michigan Craft Beer Month. So I'm drinking the Chela Familiar from Batch Brewing Company out of Corktown. It is a Mexican-style Vienna lager, and it is delicious.
Very nice. I am drinking a resin from 6 Point Brewing that I picked up last night when I was at Books and Brews. I got a growler for the wonderful price of $18, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's a steal.
Yeah, so here I am. Thank you. And so that brings me to Nick.
Hi,
Nick. What are you drinking?
I'm currently drinking Equilibrium Emperor's Marshmallow Tonin. It's an imperial stout with coconut and marshmallow. I don't know who this guy is on the label. I tried to Google it, but I couldn't find it. But Equilibrium is from Middletown, New York, and it is freaking delicious. Much like Wendy, I think that stout season is every season.
True story.
Yeah.
That is a common refrain around here. So, Nick, thank you for agreeing to be on the show. You are the proprietor and owner, I believe, of Books and Brews Brownsburg.
Yep.
How did this happen?
Well, so before Books and Brews, I was a district manager for Taco Bell. Been with Taco Bell like 10 years or so, and it was not that enjoyable. So I was trying to find something else. Towards the end of 2019, Jason, the originator of Books and Brews, put a Facebook post out. It was like, hey, if you ever have any questions about anything, shoot me a message. And I was like, hey, would you want to put a Books and Brews in Avon? Because I was living in Danville at the time. And he was like, well, Avon's too close to Brownsburg, but I'll sell you Brownsburg. And I was like, what? Okay. So we started talking about that. I didn't have any... I mean, I was a big fan of Books and Brews at the time. I had like a 5-year plan to like, I'll save up and do a Books and Brews franchise. And once he said that, I was like, oh, okay. So I applied for a ton of loans and credit cards and maxed out everything. And by February, I was the owner.
February of
2020, February 1st. So March 3rd of 2020, I quit my job at Taco Bell because I was like, I'm feeling pretty good about this. And by the 12th, everything got shut right down. I was regretting my life decisions.
Oh, man. That is some timing.
Yeah, it was a struggle.
That explains the 5-year anniversary that you had.
Yeah. So, yeah, we made it. So I've owned the place 5 years. In August, it'll be 8 years that Books and Brews Brownsburg has been there. At one point, there were 12 locations, and now there's just the 2. So the original one on 96th Street in Castleton, and then us over in Brownsburg.
Yeah, the Castleton one, they call the mothership.
Yep.
I still have the passport book that you could get stamps from all
I have no idea what the Brownsburg stamp is. I've not seen that thing since I moved in. Okay. But I've heard of the passport. I've never actually seen one myself.
Well, you could just make it up and stamp something silly on there, right?
Yeah, right.
So I will ask another question and then let Wendy have a chance.
Yeah.
But I'm quite familiar with the Books and Brews franchise as well. It's a local institution. As you said, there were 12 of them around the city. They were just tons. If I remember right, the person who owned the Brownsburg one also owned the Zionsville one.
Yep, so those were both Jason's. So, and I got the Brownsburg one off of him. When we got towards the summer, like everyone was like, oh, the summer's going to be great. COVID's going to be gone. And I was like, well, I got some extra money left over from all these loans that I took out. I was like, well, if everything's going to be great after the summer, I guess I could pick up a second location if he's fine with that. So I made an offer for the Zionsville location and picked that up. It was June of 2020. and it never really took back off where it was before. So we kept with that until the end of 23, and then unfortunately we had to close that down. It was such a nice location. Like I really love that spot.
It was neat. It had that loft area upstairs.
Yeah, that was really fancy.
Yeah.
I think it's an Italian restaurant now.
Okay. It was also bikeable.
Yeah.
So this is like my dream job. What you're doing right there. So tell the listeners a little bit about what it exactly it is.
Oh, what Books and Brews is? So the basis, we're a craft beer tap room. We're also a used bookstore. We have a 20, 30-foot wall of board games that people can come in and play. We sell board games, Magic, Pokemon.
Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, oh yeah. On occasion, we'll have random things like Infinity Gauntlets, Darth Vader helmets. Just a lot of fun stuff. A lot of things that if I think it's cool, we'll sell it, hopefully. Or at least it'll be there. We sell Funko Pops, which were huge 2020, 2022, and then they kind of died off. So we have a lot of extra Funko Pops remaining too. So people ask me, is that your personal collection? I'm like, well, it is until you buy it. I guess then it could be yours.
So I noticed on the website it said $3 books. What is that?
Yep. So all of our books are donated by customers. They line our shelves. They're not ordered in any particular way because kids always pull them down off the shelves, and it's just we tried at one point to like alphabetize them, and that was very short lived. But yeah, all of our books we just resell them for $3. It helps pay some bills, and people find some cool books here and there, and that encourages more people to just donate whatever they're trying to get rid of from their house.
I like that you can use it as a lending library if you're a Mug Club member.
Oh yeah, so if you're one of the Mug Club members, there's a bunch of extra things that come with that. So you get $2 off growler fills. You get discounted mugs on Tuesdays, our Mug Club night, and then the free book exchange for Mug Club members as well. Oh, and 10% off all merch. So like we got a lot of people that join the Mug Club just for Pokemon. So they just get it. They don't even drink beer. They just get the Mug Club just so they get the 10% off Pokemon.
Can the kids join the Mug Club then?
No, you still got to be 21. But their parents can join.
Right? They're the ones spending the money anyways. But I think it's really just a unique idea. I'm a huge reader. So my dad had a coffee shop for a long time when I was growing up, and he always wanted me to open a bookstore to coincide with it. So I just think it combines two of my favorite loves and two of Rob's favorite things. So I just think it's amazing. I wish we had one around here.
Everyone says that. It's really, the margins are real low, and it's kind of difficult. I've surprised myself that we've made it this long. I mean, we're still paying the bills, so don't get me wrong. Like it's a great time. I pay the bills, but it took a lot of work in order to get here to still at this point.
I will still say it's the best beer bar in Brownsburg. But
I would agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
So what types of things do you do to bring people in?
Oh, well, we sell food. So our menu, we've got a bunch of different things in the menu, like chicken bacon ranch, grilled cheese. We got a vegan banh mi sandwich, and there's like 8 different options. You can get those as wraps, salads, flatbreads, quesadillas. We've also got our big family pretzel, which is like I'm not in the camera enough. It's like this big. We do karaoke the last Friday of each month, or sorry, the 4th Friday of each month. That confuses a lot of people. We do painting events. We have Pokemon tournaments. We have Magic Nights, Dungeons and Dragons. We do trivia every Thursday. We've got live music most Saturdays. I feel like I'm missing something. We just brought back cookie decorating. We just had a cookie decorating event yesterday. The first Wednesday of each month, we've got a church that comes in, and they do like a community singing event. And then we're also out in the community as well. So we've partnered up with the Brownsburg Parks and Rec Department. So we're at the farmers markets, we're at their outdoor concerts. We were recently also in Avon for the Hendricks County Pride Festival. So we try to get out to as much things as we can get to as well.
When you're at
That kind of
the
go ahead.
Pride Festival, what sort of role do you have out there? Are you a vendor? Or are you?
Yeah, so we're just out there selling beer, wine, cider. We had a Purple Pride from Ash and Elm. Excuse me. Herman Brothers made a special beer for us just for the Pride event. It was a Goldenberry IPA. And then we brought up Garage Beer too, just because it's a nice, light, easy drinking beer.
So somebody made a beer for you again, because you used to have house beers.
Yes. So the mothership still does brew beer on occasion, but they don't make enough that they can ship out to us over here in Brownsburg.
How do you pick which beers you put on then?
So normally I pick whatever I think sounds cool, but I also we have all of our stuff listed on Untapped, so I kind of use that as my inventory to see what's in the cooler. IPAs been super popular. IPAs and sours been super popular in the summer, so I always make sure I got some of those in stock. And then we're just ramping into tap takeover season. So today, right now, we have a takeover with Brooklyn Brewing. They brought 8 beers. In 2 weeks, we've got an event with Blake's and Awesome East cider. So we'll have at least 10 different ciders on tap. And I think I've got like at least two takeovers a month scheduled until November.
That's handy.
Yeah, so a lot of those will be like 15 taps. So at that point, I don't really have to pick what what beers, because they're just trying to fill up the lines.
You threw out numbers 10 and 15 for taps. How many taps do you have?
Oh, we have 20 taps. So we started off, when I first got there were 12. So there were 8 up front. There were 4 off the cooler. When we closed Zionsville, we moved one of the kegerators. So that was another 4 taps. And then I got another 4 taps drilled into the cooler. So right now we've got 20. I try to keep it a nice variety of taps. I do love stouts very much, so sometimes I get a little carried away with how many stouts are on tap. Right now there's only 4 out of 20, so that's not that bad. We've had worse.
That'd probably make my day.
It is. We used to do an event, I think it was the end of 2020. I did a stout fortnight, or no, stout week, and I ordered probably 28 kegs of stouts because I just was ordering everything from everywhere. So then it turned out to stout fortnight, and then that turned into stout month, and then it turned into stout winter.
As someone who frequently bikes there, I do look for some lower ABV.
Oh, yeah.
But not every
It always
stout
makes
is
for
a high
fun,
ABV.
You're right.
No, but yeah, I tend to.
That's what you ordered?
Go a little overboard. I don't know. I can't find the lower ABV stuff nowadays. Nowadays, like, it seems like everything. If you're making a stouts, Imperial, it's 9, 10. This is what, 13%, I think.
Yeah, you did recently tap Bo and Luke, and that has been on deck for a long time.
Oh yeah, that Bo and Luke's been in there in the cooler since 2023. I guess we got a lot of stuff that's kind of tucked away. I've got some stuff from Flat 12 in the cooler. It's a 2015 Russian Imperial Stout. It's not like it's going to go bad. It's just hanging out. Can get better with age, right?
Flat 12 closed what, 3-4 years ago?
Flat 12. Well, Flat 12 became Rad in 2021.
That sounds right.
And then Rad closed at the end of 23 as well.
So I have a 2015 Flat 12 beer.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to tap it. Hopefully it's good. If not, I'll figure something out or just drink it myself. I don't know.
Great.
So I don't know what size of a town is Brownsburg. Is there a huge reception for craft beer? Like,
That's an interesting question. Brownsburg used to have a brewery. Um, do you remember when it opened?
Let's see. Mind Over Mash closed in 2020. It was
Yeah.
open for just about 2 years.
So it was kind of in a weird spot, in, like warehouses.
They were never able to get the sign out on the road either.
Yeah. We do have a lot of customers that come from nearby towns like Speedway, Avon, Noblesville, or not Noblesville, Plainfield. I felt like Brownsburg used to be, at least in my experience, it used to be really stout heavy, which I loved, and in the last 5 years, I've exposed my customers to a lot of different things, and a lot of the people that used to be big stout people are now like big sour people or big IPA people. I'm like, I really need your help drinking all these stouts, guys. Like, I ordered these for you.
Yeah, I'm not sure how big Brownsburg is either, but the high school is graduating, 800 in the class?
I think so. That sounds about right.
So whatever that size expands out to. But the other part, so I'm surprised you say Brownsburg's a stout city, because it's there's a lot of racing here.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of macro drinkers.
Well, at least our customers that would come to a craft beer bar used to be heavy into stouts. Now it seems it's trending more towards IPAs and sours. Which makes me sad, but I mean, as long as they're buying the beer, I guess it's great.
right? And look, you're taking him on a craft beer journey.
Well, yeah. So I mean, we get people all the time that like live in Brownsburg. Like, we've been there 8 years now. We at least get 4 to 5 new people a day that live in town that never heard of us, so they just wander in thinking that we're a coffee shop, and then we get to expose them to craft beer. So it's a fun time.
And of course, the most important question is, do you serve flights?
Yes, we do serve flights. I know I've been listening to a lot of your episodes. I've heard that's a point of contention.
Well, not so much anymore. I think we're all team flight. All that's left is team flight, so.
We do serve flights, but to go back, there's. I don't want to shoot myself in the foot on this. Because we do a lot of tap takeovers. So oftentimes we'll have 15 different beers on tap. People want to get flights of a bunch of stuff, and that's cool. Do it. But if you come up to the bar, kind of at least know what you want to get beforehand, because normally in those nights I've got like 8 other people in line waiting for this one person that'd be like, and figure out what they're getting. And I just gotta stand there and wait until they figure it out, and then I can go for their flight.
Which is
we go
exactly
through a lot
the
of
reason.
glasses. We go through a lot of glasses. We've had reps from Cavalier come behind the bar to help us clean glasses on those nights sometimes, because we can't keep up.
That is exactly the reason that Ken is against flights. Part of the reason is that it takes forever.
It takes forever. It's all the glassware. It takes so much time to manage a flight.
I used to, when was it November? I broke my foot, or I broke my ankle. I was still there in a boot on a scooter, pouring beer, and when people were getting flights, and that at that point, riding on a scooter back and forth along the bar, I was like, why am I serving flights?
I could see that.
The
So
bar is set up too, where you've got taps on one out by the bar, and then
Yeah,
you've got
I got
taps,
taps in the
by
back.
the kitchen. So you got to go through a door.
There's like 20 feet of taps that I gotta keep going, wheeling back and forth through when I was on the scooter.
You put them in where they fit in.
Yeah.
we have notes that we're reading right now, and I have to know what is the bucket, and how did it start, and why would Rob put this in the notes?
The bucket.
The popcorn bucket.
Oh. So we have a local movie theater. It's a Goodwitch Quality Theaters down at the end of the shopping mall that we're in, basically. They do a promotion that's a golden bucket. So once a year, they release this golden bucket. You buy it, it's $25. And whenever you go back in, it's $3.25 to fill. So on occasion, I'll just walk over and go fill the bucket for $3.25 and then just come back to Books and Brews and eat popcorn. But also a lot of times, like, people tell me they're going to go see a movie. I'm like, oh, do you have a golden bucket? And I'm like, no, what's that? I'm like, oh, bro, let me hook you up. So I'll let them borrow the bucket. I'm just like, hey, on your way back though, let me get some.
Just make sure you bring it back.
Just bring it back full, so I can get some.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is the bucket. It is a legend.
I didn't expect to talk about that today. But yeah, I guess I am. I've let plenty of people borrow it. Most of the time, they bring it right back. I've had one person that kept it for like 3 weeks, and I was very upset.
I was thinking.
Well, yeah, it's hard to get
snacks.
Yeah.
I was thinking of some of the events that you have. Like you do a painting, the wine and painting type of a thing, and book signings. Every once in a while, I show up and there's an author there doing book signings, and it always surprises me.
Normally, they have a bunch of friends that they've hyped up to come in and visit them and get their book and have them sign it. And it's like friends and family. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just a random guy that publishes a book in town and doesn't tell anybody. Just hopes that people are ready to come. And sometimes they do, but I don't know. They're kind of they're like the flip of a coin. They're hit or miss sometimes. We did have a big one a few weeks ago. We had like 7 authors. They did bring a lot of people in, so that was nice.
If there was, for example, my board game group, and we wanted to do a semi-regular, like, open house, teach people to play particular games and play the particular games, mm-hmm. Is that a sort of event that you'd want?
Yeah, we could do that. We used to have Indie West Side Board Gaming did a monthly event where they would come in and they would have the table in the back. I get Wendy doesn't know what I'm talking about, but the table near the bathrooms, they would have that big table, and they'd just be set up and had like 8 people there playing games and teaching different things.
Okay, I know that we've come there and played games.
Yeah,
but we've never tried to invite people to come.
Yeah, we're always open for people that want to do their own little events. Like a lot of what Books and Brews is, at least to me, is what people make it into be. Because if you're relying on me to make you have a good time, like I'm kind of lame. I'm sorry. So like I need you, like you bring your idea to us and we'll make it happen for you. So yeah, I mean that's a lot of our stuff has come from customers. Like my friend Zach wanted to do his painting events, so we started doing that. And someone's like, "Hey, can I decorate cookies there?" Yeah, sure. Carly, that used to work here, was like, "Hey, can I have a crochet event?" Said, okay, go ahead. And then all of a sudden, a bunch of people showed up. They're sitting there crocheting together at the same table, drinking beer. So yeah,
I have knit at that bar more than once.
But as long as you can imagine it, whatever event you want to have, and it factors craft beer in, bring it all in. We're going to have it for you.
I'm just going to throw this out here because I've always wanted to make it happen. There are rock, paper, scissors championships. And what? I'm just saying that you could be a host to one of the steps to the international champion.
Like to the regional qualifier?
Oh, yeah. One of the champions, it was a long time ago, but he was from Taylor, Michigan. A friend of mine's brother actually won. We had no idea, but I had been talking about doing an event like this for years. And he's like, "You're not going to believe what my brother just did." And he took it out. He won like a national championship.
Oh,
he was
wow.
on like David Letterman. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
for rock, paper, scissors. So
if you know who to talk to, I'll be happy to get
just an idea. I'll send you over the information on how to get the certification
that.
for the stops
Speaking of
along the way.
rock paper scissors, that reminds me of I was at Bloomington Brew Festival. It was probably 2018, 2016. It was a while ago. And they're closing up, and I stopped by the taxman booth, and they had like the metal little skull symbol sign. And I was like, "How much for the sign?" And they're like, "Well, we're not selling it." I was like, "Come on, it's like, you're packing up. How much you want for the sign?" He was like, $30. And then this other lady comes up and she's like, "What? I'll buy the sign." So then the guy was like, "Well, why don't you play rock paper scissors for it?" I was like, "Okay, sure. We've been drinking like 3 hours at this beer festival." Okay, sure. So boom, 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 boom. It's tied 2-2. And she was probably a little more far gone than I was, because we go boom, 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 and I kind of hesitated for her to slip the paper, and I was like, "Oh, scissors! Oh, dang! I won! I get the sign." So yeah, I have that taxman skull sign at my house right now.
That's awesome.
Hopefully she doesn't see this a decade later. Like, I knew he cheated.
Yeah. Bill one sign.
So let me ask you guys something. So, better on draft. Have you had a beer that wasn't better on draft?
And mine's kind of cheating tonight because this is a growler, so it was poured from my draft.
That's basically true.
Yeah, there's a lot of beers I've had in bottles that I have not had on draft. So I'm thinking through, like, Dark Lord, for example. I have not had that on draft, so I don't know what to compare it to.
That's fair. Speak right before I came here, my friend Cody brought a bottle of Dark Lord Marshmallow Hangy. So I had a little pour of that.
Nice.
And then I started the night off 2023 BCBS. I just tapped it this evening.
Oh, yes, okay. Yeah.
I don't know that I could answer that, because I don't think there is a beer that would be better in the bottle than in draft.
Yeah.
I've had one that was a can of Brewlink Ivory Stout. The very first time I had Ivory Stout was in a can. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is so good." It tasted like red velvet cake. And then when I finally made it to Brewlink and had it on draft, I was like, "This is nothing like I remember." So I don't know if it was what the issue was. I just, that's the only, when I saw the name of the better on draft, I was like, wait a minute, the only one time I had a beer that was better in the can was the Ivory Stout.
Yeah, and the Ivory Stout used to come in a 4-pack. It was 2 ivories and 2 ebonies.
Yeah.
And you were encouraged to mix them. They don't even make the ebony anymore.
Oh, really? I haven't been back there in a while.
We do trivia there once a month.
Oh, nice.
So I'm not sure what Ivory Stout is.
It was a white stout. I don't remember what the tasting notes are supposed to be. They exist, Wendy.
You mean a coffee ale?
Sure.
Yeah, I feel like this one's not so coffee-y. It's been a minute since I've had it.
Yeah, I haven't had it since
you had a bad
since I had that bad experience on draft the one time. I was like, "Oh man, this is not how I remember it."
I have had that happen, where I had something and then the next time I had it. I have had really beers that were on really bad draft lines.
Yeah, that'll happen.
So, but I've since learned how to tell that it's a really bad draft line.
Yeah.
So I know better, and I try not to let that use my judgment.
Sour your impression of the beer.
Yes. I know.
For the longest time, I was chasing the Yingling Black and Tan on tap. And I had it plenty of times in bottles.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was in bottles at the time. But then I was staying at Embassy Suites. And the manager's reception, there was free black and tan
Oh,
on
okay.
tap.
That's awesome.
I mean, there's so much to love about this.
Was it
The bad
better on
lines.
draft than it was in the bottle?
It was really good, and it was free.
Well, that's the best part, right? That makes it taste infinitely better.
I don't know
Yeah.
if it was better. If I remember right, I was actually in Columbus, and we're going to be talking to Columbus Brewing Company in a month.
I do say that different experiences can make a beer taste really good or better than it actually is. I remember the first time I went whitewater rafting, and on the New River in West Virginia, you're not allowed to drink on the river. So when they got us on the bus after went whitewater rafting, they would give us a beer to drink on the way back to the campground, and pretty sure it was like a Keystone Light that they gave me.
Nice.
Best fucking beer I had ever drank. It was so good. And I had it, my grandma's boyfriend, his beer was Keystone Light. And it was not the same, for sure, when I had it at his house than I did when I was on the river, or when I was coming back from the river.
It's been so refreshing when you got it
Oh, yeah.
back from the river. Oh, hey, Catherine.
Right, Catherine Vest is in the chat and says hello.
I tried to advertise this a bunch on our Facebook page. I was trying to get some people to check it out and watch.
Yeah.
So what is one of the favorite beers that you've had on tap?
Oh, that's a great question. So we used to get a lot of beer from Windmill Brewing. They were in Dyer, Indiana. Unfortunately, they closed last year, but they made some of my favorite stouts that we've ever had. They made Anime Kitties, which is like a mole imperial stout. And the first time we had it, it was fabulous. It was fantastic. And I bugged them for like 3 years to make another batch. Finally, they did it because it was like a part of a series where a lot of their employees were recommending what to do, and the can art was based on their employees. Well, the employee that recommended Anime Kitties, and the can art was based on her. They had a bad falling out, so like, we're never brewing this ever again. I was like, I know. They finally brewed it. The batch that we got was way too spicy for me. Like it's peppered to hell on this batch. Well, I guess it's not this batch anymore because we just finally blew the last final keg of it. But yeah, that Anime Kitties was one of my favorite beers. They've made Rocky Rainbow Road, which was a Rocky Road Imperial Stout. I really loved. They made a lot of great stouts, like to the point where I went to a Fall Out Boy concert in like 2023, and it was in July. I brought a couple cans of their stouts out there with me and drank them in the parking lot to pregame. And then it rained, and they're like, "Oh, well, we're delaying it." It got delayed like 3 hours. So I had pre-gamed, and I was like, well, I took a nap in my car for a while because I had 2 pint cans of a 11% stout. So I was like, well, let me take a little nappy poo here for a bit. But yeah, Windmill Brewing was one of my favorite breweries, and I was very sad when they closed down.
My wife was actually, she doesn't get out to the bar all that often, but she was out there with her friend. She also loves stouts, and learned about Anime Kitties being on tap after it kicked.
Oh, no. Well, that's disappointing.
Yes.
We were holding on to that keg for a year before, because we had, I think, about 3 kegs when they were closing down. So we tapped 2 back to back, and I was like, I'm going to hold on to this one for a little bit. And it was like a full year before we tapped the last one. Sad time.
Is there anything that you wish you could get that you haven't been able to get yet?
So I grew up in Tampa. There's a couple breweries down there that I really wish I could get my hands on.
Tripping Animals down there?
Tripping Animals is down there, but I've never There is, oh crap, now I can't think of the name of the places.
You're not going to say Tampa Bay Brewing Company.
No, that wasn't it. Who makes Highlight?
No, Cigar City.
Cigar City. They make some really good stouts. The Maduro Brown Ale I really like. I wish they used to distribute that up here, but it's been a few years since we could get kegs of that. Like I really like that one.
I did a project with out in New Jersey. I brought some homebrew out there because the people I was working with, I know they like beer, so I brought some homebrew I made for them. One of the guys out there lives in Tampa. He went to Hunapu Day over the weekend.
Nice.
And so he brought us all back bottles of Hunapu.
Oh, I'm jealous. I've never had to try that because when I was living in Tampa, I wasn't really big. Like I was just kind of getting into craft beer. And then when I moved up here is when I fully dived more into it. Like when I was back in Tampa, I was mostly drinking Yingling and like the occasional Dos Equis Amper or something. Nothing crazy. Some Cigar City here and there. But I didn't really fully dive into craft beer until I came up to Indiana.
There's Seven Sons is also really good down there. And there's someone else across the causeway that I'm just not, it's like Three Sisters or something. I can't remember their name now. It was also the highlight of my trip.
Nice. Hidden Springs. Hidden Springs made some of the best sours that I've ever had. And it's like a small little shop, but I guess you have to know it's there in order to find it. Sour Note. Did you ever hear Sour Note Brewing up in Hammond?
Yeah.
So the brewer from Sour Note, he used to brew at Hidden Springs like a couple years before. So he came up and was brewing very similar stuff. I was like, oh, dang, this is just like Hidden Springs. So I was buying a lot of his stuff. And I was kind of sad when he closed down too.
Those were really good beers that they were making.
Yeah.
So how excited were you to do the BCBS tap takeover?
Oh, that was great. That was a great time. We had like 6 different kegs of BCBS and then a bunch of different variants and bottles. It was fabulous.
I have sent the picture of the bar top that has all of those $50 the boxed bottles of.
Yeah.
That supply is dwindling.
Oh, very much. There's 2 bottles of. Oh, because I just sold a couple bottles earlier today. There's 2 bottles of whatever was in the big box, Old Forester maybe. There's 1 bottle left of the barley wine. And then we still got a bunch of bottles of the base. And oh crap, what was the other variant that we had?
Yeah.
One of the variants. We got a few bottles of vanilla rye, I guess.
So do you just sell draft or do you also sell bottles?
Both. We got 20 draft lines. We sell bottles, cans. We got tons of stuff. We just started recently getting into the like the Delta 9 beverages as well. We don't really advertise that we have those, but we get a small group that knows that we do, and then they come in and hang out and drink one. Those things hit very hard. I don't know if you've tried one before.
I've not tried one.
You're one and you're off to the moon at that point.
Maybe I shouldn't bike.
Wait a few hours before you bike home.
So what are the laws there with that? Because here we can't sell, our breweries can't sell THC beers. And in Minnesota, where I just visited, every brewery had THC beers available as well. So, but they couldn't sell, if you bought a beer, you couldn't then buy a THC drink.
That is probably something I should double check on then at that point, because we get most of our THC stuff from Johnson Brothers. They also distribute wine and hard liquor. No one's ever said anything about if you buy a beer, you can't buy another beverage. So that's
It's
something
right.
I should probably look into.
No
I
one
don't know.
listens to this. No one watches this. You'll be fine.
I don't know if that's an actual hard rule here in Indiana, because I know like we're
Doesn't
still
seem to be.
catching up on like the Delta 9, Delta 8 stuff. So yeah, that's a great question.
Bats McGee pulls us back to Tampa.
Angry Chair.
Angry Chair.
Yeah. I would like to get some of that stuff up here.
Thanks, Bats McGee. Yeah, I'm not sure what the rules are, but I know that like Sun King has it on their in their coolers down there at the tap room.
Yeah. Do they have it on tap? Because I had a can. A customer brought me a can of like a 20 milligram pint thing that they did.
Yeah, I've never had good experiences with marijuana at all, so I don't look for it.
Oh, gotcha. I only started doing it like a couple of months ago, trying it out, because one of the reps from Johnson Brothers came in one day and was like, "Hey, have you tried this stuff?" And I was like, "No, I haven't." And then, yeah, it was
It was
a
all
good time.
downhill from there, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So we have a book club. So we have a fantasy romance book club, which is, I guess, the code word for smut, basically. So we have they meet once a month, and they like a lot of those THC drinks there.
Not all fantasy romance has smut in it.
No, just a lot of the stuff that we read in our book club does. We've had a bunch recently that they thought was going to be really bad, which have been real tame. But I could have swore for like the longest time they were trying to find the stuff that was going to make me the most uncomfortable.
So I have a
And
theory about that.
Uh,
The worse the picture is, like the more unclothed the people on the book are, the tamer the book is.
That's fair. I do all my stuff on Audible because I'm working the bar and I'm in the kitchen. I'll be listening to the book, and sometimes it gets real awkward when I'm listening to a threesome vampire scene and then I'm serving kids their pizzas.
Make it a big family pretzel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
serving food to families. Meanwhile, there's just obscene stuff going on in my ear. It gets a little weird. It's the magic.
So I know how you. I've started doing a lot of audiobooks while I'm doing stuff around the house, and I had to go to listening in my headphones because, my grandma's always here with me. So
Oh yes.
sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know that I want to listen to that with my grandma. So
My word, Wendy. What are
I
you
did
listening
start
to?
putting in the headphones.
She might be into it.
So yeah,
Probably ask her. I don't know if you want to listen to it with her.
I was just telling my parents last night we were watching Family Feud while we were waiting for something to come on. And I'm like, one of my favorite memories of my grandma is when I first moved in with her before we got the dementia diagnosis and everything. We were trying to figure out what was going on, and I was making dinner one night, and she was in the living room watching Family Feud. And I could hear them ask the question, which was, what is the best flavor for edible underwear?
What was the best flavor?
I don't know what the best flavor was. I don't remember that part, but I remember the lady said strawberry, and she won the toss there, and my grandma was like, "Good answer, good answer."
Nice.
And I was like, "Oh no, what did I get myself into?" I was like,
Cherry would be for a
"Grandma."
second.
She's like, "What? It was a good answer."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay."
I had something. I totally something about edible underwear made me forget.
Sorry,
Yeah, that happens.
I
That's
broke
not excuse.
broke our
Understandable.
concentration.
But there are book clubs. I guess they're not advertised. I don't know about them anyway.
Well, so we advertised the fantasy romance one on the Facebook page, and then a bunch of customers have their own separate book clubs that they just bring their friends in, and
Gotcha.
they don't really tell me when they're doing it. They just show up. I'm like, okay, well, we'll fit you in.
Yeah, we used to have a neighborhood book club. It was pretty fun. Actually,
Start back up again.
The lady who started it was a bartender at Books and Brews at one point.
Oh, okay.
Don't ask me to remember her name.
That's understandable. We have had a lot of employees over the years.
Yeah, it's been too many years.
Yeah, we're always open for people to bring events in, and I get people that were like, "Hey, can I have my birthday there?" Yeah, sure. Yeah. You want to do karaoke? We can make it happen. What do you want to do? You want me to order a special beer? We got you covered.
Yes, Lindsay is one of our fans, and she had her birthday there recently.
Oh yeah, that was a good time. So Lindsay's a very special character. She just showed up a couple months ago. Her first time in, she was like, "I love this place." She joined the Mug Club, and now she's like a staple there. And it's been like maybe 60 days since her first time coming in.
It doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, right. No, she's always there. I feel like our community is very welcoming. Like, as long as you're a cool person, you're chill. You like to have beer or wine or cider.
So what's it like when if I were to come and visit, what on any given night, what would I find when I walked in?
On any given night. So on a tame night, you'd find me bored. No, I'm kidding. I mean, there's always the tap list there, so you can get your own party started with a flight, Wendy, because there's going to be at least 4 or 5 stouts there for you. But so we got random events on random days. So sometimes we do walk in. There might be a Pokemon tournament. There might be a bunch of people playing Magic or Dungeons and Dragons. It's trivia.
Mario Kart and Smash.
Yeah, we got a Mario Kart tournament next Saturday. One of my friends, it's her kid's birthday, so we're holding a Mario Kart tournament for his birthday. So there's always something fun happening. At least I try to make something fun happening.
Well, it sounds to me like you have a pretty large following that kind of helps bring stuff in.
Yeah, we've got a good group of regulars, and they know, like, if they want to have something special, they can be like, "Hey, I want to do this," and more often than not, I'm like, "Okay, I'll figure it out." Like, we have got a Blake's and Austin East cider event here coming up on the 25th, and some of my regulars were like, "Hey, we should do a luau." I was like, "Okay," so I talked to Matt, who's the rep for Blake's. It's like, "Hey, you want to do a luau?" I was like, "Okay, sure." Now it's luau themed. So I want to make some special Hawaiian pulled pork sandwiches for that, and we'll have leis and palm trees and flamingos. Even though I guess that's not really luau, but it's beach. it's giving beach theme.
It's Indiana luau.
Yeah.
Not sure how Michigan apples leads to beaches, but okay. Whatever works.
Yeah. Light and refreshing, like you're out at the beach.
Right. So how do you decide like your menu? Is that something that it comes from the mothership or whatever you call it?
So we used to be very much whatever they did, because it was a very strict franchise for a while. Once all the other locations closed, we kind of went off to do our own thing. So we kind of just share a brand name still with the mothership, but for the most part, we're our own entity. We do our own thing. So our menu is very much different from theirs. I used to have a full-time cook, Ken, and because it used to be just sandwiches, flatbreads. You can do these, or you can do those sandwiches. And now it's like, hey, we got 8 different options. Those options can be a sandwich. They can be a flatbread. They can be a salad or a quesadilla or a wrap. So, like, Ken helped me develop what those menu options are going to be, and then how we're going to present them all the different ways.
I was going to ask about that, how you want it on the menu. Like, I think that's awesome, because you have certain ingredients that you work with, and you can just present it any way they want. I think it's a really unique idea.
Before this, I used to work for Taco Bell, so it's kind of in my nature to be like, so Taco Bell's basically the same bunch of ingredients served in different ways.
Right?
So that was very at home when he developed and now, so Ken left, He's our rep for Cavalier. So he went from being my cook to selling me beer and cider.
Funny. We are hitting 50 minutes, which means that we are starting to wrap up. So we will do what we always do to wrap up and ask a possibly not beer related question.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and ask my standard question. What's the last board game you played? Card game you played? Did you win?
The last board game I played was Puerto Rico.
Oh, that's a good
It
one.
was with one of my bartenders, Chris, and his girlfriend, Erin. I'd only played it once before with Ken, actually. It was at his house. We had like 8 people there playing. I had no idea what it was doing. Somehow I won. And I was like, well, I'm Puerto Rican. I'm going to win the game. Played it with Chris, and it went very different. I had no idea what the hell. He was very, very experienced in it. So he just eked me out. Like I tried to get Aaron in on something to screw him over on the last turn, and he still won. But as far as card games, we play a lot of Magic. So every Tuesday night, we've got Magic night. I'm usually there till like 2, 3 in the morning playing Magic the Gathering. This last week, I think I went 2 for 4. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Puerto Rico's I haven't played that in quite a while. It's an old economy game.
Yeah. It was fun. But then we discovered, like, on the last round, we've been playing something wrong the whole time we were doing it. I'm like, oh, well, whoops. Like, this doesn't count for your victory, Chris.
So my question is, considering that you have access to a lot of different beers, what is a bucket list beer of yours that you haven't had that you would absolutely love to try? Not necessarily one that you can get, but just in general, a bucket list beer.
That is a great question there. I'm not really an IPA person, but I've heard so much about Pliny the Elder that I feel like I need to try that at some point. What else?
It is actually getting easier to find.
Is it?
Yeah, in season, at least if you're out in California.
Dark Lord used to be a big one, and then we had a Three Floyds tap takeover, and the rep was like, I'll bring a couple bottles. And I was like, okay, check that off the list.
You shared those out at the bar, too.
Oh, yeah, that was such a great time. But yeah, I guess I would say
like Pliny the Younger better than... I liked Pliny the Younger better than Pliny the Elder, but I've not had Pliny the Elder on draft, so that's one of my bucket list breweries, so that I can go and try it.
Well, somehow, if we can get it, you're more than welcome to come drink it at Books and Brews Monday.
Are there those big releases that you want to get, like Abraxas? They come out. I want to say they were at the Tap, which I'm pretty sure it's closed.
So, well, they rebrand, or wait, no, like the A Tap Room.
No, A Tap Room.
A Tap Room, yeah. So they rebranded to being focused specifically on one brewery now. Okay. It's the same owner. He just kind of rebranded them, changed the strategy.
Well, they're not going to have Abraxas then.
Yeah. I forget who was distributing Abraxas. So Chris from Windmill, that was the sales rep from Windmill. He started off his own distribution company. So now he distributes Phase 3, Hoplore. There's a bunch of like cool stuff that we have that we get through him. Could probably figure out how to get Abraxas back in.
Yeah, so the Abraxas, Speedway does their series of stouts, or the Speedway Stouts. Who they're out of California. I can't remember the brewery name now.
AleSmith.
Thank you.
I know my stouts.
But that would be a fun one too.
Yeah.
Mine still 100% is KBBS. I went to Toppling Goliath and I still didn't get to try it. I'm like, damn it. They gave me a tour. The head brewer gave me a tour of the brewery. I was hoping.
What's that stand for?
Kentucky brand brunch stout. Kentucky Brunch brand stout.
Oh. Hmm.
It was like the #1 stout in the world for years.
What?
Out of Toppling Goliath.
Well, we get some Topping Goliath from time to time if I can figure out how to get some of that.
They don't
Really
release that one. You can't even get it at the brewery. It was
Well,
like,
you'll be surprised when we get some crazy stuff sometimes. When you're like, hey, I want to have a tap takeover with 15 taps, they find some things here and there.
right? Yeah, it's like $150 for a ticket, and you have to be put in a lottery.
Dang.
And you can get, when you go to pick up your bottles, you can get a sample of it on draft that's for like $20, but only if you buy the bottles. Like, I couldn't just go into the brewery and get it on draft on release day. I would have to buy the bottles in order to sample it.
Wow.
It's like money.
I know, right?
Release.
Dang.
It's a lot like Pliny the Elder, where like you could only get it on draft at the brewery for the longest time. And I think that's where all the hype comes from.
You mentioned the 450 North releases that used to happen.
Yes.
But it was also very highly rated for a long time.
Is Wendy familiar with 450 North?
Do you know 450 North, Wendy?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I guess they distribute now a little bit.
Yeah, I think they're a little more out there. But there was the longest time you had to be in line to get the drops, and it was like they were just printing money ridiculously.
That was when the cans were exploding.
Oh, yeah.
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 Whoops.
Their XXL slushies were not actually higher in ABV than their regular slushies.
Oh, yeah. Oopsie.
Yeah, we actually have a huge selection of 450 North at my favorite local.
Really?
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen 450 like in stores here.
The Total Wine in Avon will have it sometimes.
Really? Okay.
Otherwise, I see it at Jungle Gyms.
Oh, okay. In Ohio?
In Ohio, Jungle Gyms. It's the most magical place.
Yeah, I'm going to have to make a stop there the next trip I go on.
Really do.
I've heard great things about it. I need to go check that out too. I can't really get out to places. There's so many places we've had tap takeovers for, and they're like, "Hey, you should come check out the brewery." Like, yeah, one day I'll. If I can get a day off, I'll make it out there.
Yeah, I hear that. Well, Nick, it has been wonderful having you on. We're going to wrap up. Do you have anything coming up that you want to talk about, mention?
Oh, let me try to remember what's going on here. Today's Friday. Tomorrow we got live music. Saturday we got Pokemon.
The podcast might be hitting the feed tomorrow.
Okay, so then if there's anyone local, there's trivia on Thursday. And then we've got... I need to really... Oh, dag.
Yeah.
There's stuff. Books and Brews, or Brownsburg on Facebook. There's our event page. All of our stuff's on there. So.
Okay. And as to us, I don't think we have a show coming up in 2 weeks. But we will be back in August for sure. Columbus Brewing Company on the 8th. That is when we are recording. So if you want to tune in and watch that will be on the 8th.
If you want T-Bump one day, I got you. 2 weeks.
Wendy, you got anything?
I do not. I'm excited because I just sent out a bunch of emails to try and get some of the breweries that I visited on my last 2 beer trips on the show. And I also am going to shout out a bunch of Michigan craft breweries. Like, I want to hear you guys on the show again. Like, there's certain people that haven't been on the show in a while that I think we need to bring on to update. And there are so many new breweries that we just need to get on there. So start looking for our calls, guys.
And how is Craft Beer Month going for you?
It is going good. I have showcased a different craft beer from Michigan, from a different brewery, every day this month on TikTok. And the extras I have been drinking on the show today. So I'm trying to do a different brewery every day so that I can showcase a bunch of different stuff. So hopefully I'll be able to get out to some breweries here soon instead of just doing ones that distribute, because there's a lot of really good beer in the state that doesn't distribute. So
Yeah, excellent. That sounds like a great project.
it's been a lot of fun.
A good project any month.
Yep.
All right, with that, we will wrap up the show. And whatever you think of your beer, we think it's better on draft.
Cheers.